back. I wanted to do another video before I started putting the videos up. I wanted to do a wrestling video. Which I already had planned before I was asked to do the retro wrestling recap. So, thought I had which was my commentary on Brock Lesnar. Again, I cannot stress this enough. The opinions expressed herein are mine and mine alone. I have not liked Brock Lesnar from day one, and I'll tell you why. Because I think he got everything handed to him on a silver platter right from the beginning. He was world champion so fast your head would spin. He didn't earn anything he got. He just came in as this big, amateur, tough guy. He had the size and the brawn that Vince McMahon loves. And he wanted him to be another Hulk Hogan. Well, Brock Lesnar's a jerk. He's never gonna, well, Hulk Hogan's a jerk too, but he was never gonna pretend to play nice. At least Hogan pretended to play nice, you know? Lesnar was never gonna do that. And you know, a lot of people say, it's because he married Sable, and I don't care. I didn't like him long before he knew Sable. Or Rena Mero. Or Rena Lesnar, I guess now. I don't care. He could be a great husband, a great father. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me, hi Bob, is I just don't like him. And then he comes back from MMA. And supposedly he has some pretty serious intestinal issues that were supposed to keep him from really taking bumps and stuff. I haven't seen any sign of that. That was the excuse when he first came back for why he wasn't really in the ring. And, his promos aren't very good. He's just... I don't know why Paul Heyman was high on him, but I know he was high on him from the beginning. I know they're very close friends, and you know what? That's great. You know, everybody needs a close friend. I'm not putting that down a bit. I know that Paul Heyman, in spite of the fact that people question his honesty at times in business, I know that he has, on his own, raised a son and a daughter while working in the wacky business. After his divorce, he raised them on his own. And they were always his priority, you know, so I have nothing against Paul Heyman. I know a lot of people do, because they think his business dealings are a little on the shady side. I look at the person. And Lesnar, even as a babyface, is a jerk. That's why I don't like the Ultimate Warrior. Same idea. Ultimate Warrior is a jerk. Do you know how many events I went to where we would walk up to the door and there'd be a sign on the door? Ultimate Warrior isn't here as advertised. Go to the box office to receive a refund. And my father would say, what do you think? I don't care. You know, that never... I mean, yeah, for a lot of kids it's crushing. But I wasn't a kid, you know, and the Ultimate Warrior came when I was a teenager. So I really was too old to get into that again, and I was already over Hogan. So I was over Hogan when I was barely 13. I went from Hogan to Piper in about 87, maybe 86. So maybe at 12. I switched from Hogan to Piper. So, and never looked back. Yeah, it was probably about 86 because I got turned off to Hogan at WrestleMania 2. Because I saw his true colors. A tiny little girl, 3 years old maybe, walked up, was behind him when he was walking up into the cage at WrestleMania 2, and went to pat him. And all she could reach was his bum. The man's legitimately well over 6 feet tall. And maybe 6'8", I think, legitimately. And he gave her the dirtiest, meanest look. You know, he could have turned around and patted her head and smiled, but he didn't. He turned around and gave her the dirtiest, meanest look. It's on tape. And that turned me off right there. Done. Even my mother noticed it when we first watched it. That's why I like the guys I like. Because I know how they treat their fans, because I know how I was treated. You know, people say a lot of things about Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash does have a big mouth. But Kevin Nash is a good man. He treated me well. And I appreciate that. I don't forget that. Frankie Kazarian has been amazing to me. Francine has been amazing to me. Christopher Daniels has been above and beyond to me. And I've seen him do that for others. That little girl, and I've told you the story, at the fan night at Ring of Honor, when he left the commentator and went over to her, you know, the interviewer, and went over to her, and he hugged her, and he was crying. I mean, that just shows you the real heart inside the person. At the end of the match at the Jay Briscoe show, which took place way too soon, in my opinion. I think the guys needed time to catch their breath. At the end of that match, he just lost it and sobbed. It was, like I said, I think it was too soon. I think they were holding it in throughout the match, him and Claudio. And Claudio seems like a real sweetheart, too. And I think he's a fabulous wrestler, and I'm glad he got away from WWE. And Cesaro was crying, too. And I just think that they held it in while they wrestled. They acted as professionals, did their job, and it was too soon. So when they were done, they just let it go emotionally. And they still probably would have let it go to some degree, no matter when they finally did the tribute. But I think doing it like 2 days after his death, before he's even buried, was too soon for the guys. You know, it's no disrespect to Jay. In fact, it's ultimate respect to Jay. But it's too soon for the guys emotionally that have known Jay all these years, worked with Jay all these years. You know, guys like Claudio, guys like Chris, you know, Mark. They need time to absorb what just happened. They were lucky that these guys could perform. So, yep. Like I said, these are all my opinions. But I've never expressed my opinion about Lesnar publicly. I just think he was handed it all on a silver platter based on what he looked like, his build and his background in amateur wrestling, which I don't take for granted. And I'm sure he's a very intelligent man. He has a college degree. And like I said, I don't take any of those things away from him. I don't take his All-American status away from him, his potential Olympic status. None of that. I just don't like him. And I don't like him in the ring because I'm not into the big brutes that do the same thing over and over again. To me, his match with Bobby Lashley was a match of two holds. A spear from Lashley, an F5, maybe a full Nelson / hurt lock from Lashley. That's it. They're so big and bulky that they don't move. I personally don't like matches like that. That is another reason why I prefer to watch Shawn Michaels, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Chris Jericho, because they move. I don't mind watching a Bam Bam Bigelow match, because even though he's big, he moves. As I mentioned in the Retro Wrestling Recap. And if you have any requests, let me know. Just because I don't like a specific wrestler or a specific style of wrestling, like to me the big brute style I don't like. I don't like the hardcore style. The hardcore blood and guts style. The weapons and the... Yeah, no, that's not wrestling. I like wrestling. Which is why I could literally sit here and watch Christopher Daniels all day long. Or Shawn Michaels, or Frankie, or, a lot of the women. And I do like that the women are a little more smash mouth now. They're tough. They'll whip you around, and it's a little bit different than the women wrestlers I grew up with, where sure, they did a Beal type throw, but they did it by the hair, instead of by the head. They did by the hair. They would do a lot of things by the hair. They would stand on the hair and hold the arms up. Yeah, that sort of stuff. And today's women actually wrestle, and I freaking love it. If you ask me who my favorite lady wrestlers are as of right now, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, loving that Raquel Rodriguez. I want to see more of her. I like Nick Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss. What's her name is in Japan now. Carmella's a great worker. I don't like her character. The character is not likable. And I think that's on purpose. But I can distinguish the character from the wrestler. You know what I mean? And I think anybody who's been watching wrestling as long as I've been watching wrestling can certainly do that. And I just wanted to say, guys, we are up to 42 subscribers, and we are up to 168 on the other channel. Thank you so much for that. Please keep hitting that subscribe button and that bell for your notifications. Please like the videos, share the videos, talk about this, because I'm sure a good number of you wow, we've had 1,700 views in the last 28 days with a watch time of 72.8 hours. Guys, and you guys seem to like my videos in the kitchen, I'll tell you that. I don't know why. I'm grateful. But thank you for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye, guys.